Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing something a little different. Hoping to post more of these kind of videos on my page. For me, owning my own house, it's been about a year and a half almost. With me officially owning my first house. I've never had a house before. I always grew up in apartments, so anytime something broke, then for me, you call the maintenance man, he come and fix it. Well, now I'm the maintenance man, so in a way, it's been eye-opening just how many projects a house can have, even one that's in pretty good shape. And just installing things that more for convenience, but also things that are pretty cool. So I want to start a little channel of just me being more of a novice, DIYer. You watch enough YouTube, you feel like you can do anything. So stopped at my local Home Depot. I was picking up some stuff for the house and I saw this Genie Aladdin Connect system where basically you can control your garage door from an app on your phone. When I bought the house, it came with the previous owner gave me their old garage door keys. For some reason, once I got them, they did not work, or they would work intermittently. So it just became a cluster. So we never actually really used the garage in terms of parking in here or doing anything in here. For us, basically it's storage. We have our weight bench and elliptical out here. But anytime we need to go out the garage, we have an opener inside the house, so we go in and out that way. But we've never been able to from outside the house open the garage. And also we have a keypad as well, but for some reason I can't get those two to link up either. So something's off that I have to fix eventually. But been wanting now with winter and fall approaching, want to be able to kind of use this space a little bit more. So bought the system, and then went ahead and installed it, and didn't quite work out the first time or the second time. It took me about good 12 tries to get it right, and then once I got it right, I had to move it, so then I had to redo it again. But I saw a bunch they have on the instructions when you open it up. They have a YouTube video and then they have all these instructions. But if I was you, I'm gonna try to give you the gritty, because these instructions, while nice to have in here, they didn't apply to my situation or my garage door opener. And it just didn't make the instructions just don't make a lot of sense. So I'm gonna kind of tell you how I did it, and hopefully it's a lot easier to understand than kind of the instructions you're given on this app. So on this page here, even the video, because they don't get in detail about the wiring or stuff like that. But I'll touch on all that here shortly. Hopefully try not to make this video too long. So let's get going. So luckily I already have everything done, but I'll kind of walk through the steps that I did. So I'll go through the steps versus what they have here and just kind of give some commentary there. Let's flip this around. There we go. So the first step, they say put this close to the Wi-Fi router. What I initially did was they have this little piece here that you plug in, and you put this, obviously where you want to put it. Initially, I had it bolt. You can see the anchor screws right there, or the anchors right there. I had it mounted up there right next to my garage door opener, because I was gonna have it out of the way. But I felt like it was easier and more convenient to put it over next to the wall that's closest to the house. Seems to be picking up the reception a lot better for my Wi-Fi, since my Wi-Fi is in the basement. So it's personal preference for me. If you have a strong enough Wi-Fi where it can reach all the way to, next to your garage door opener, then, mount it there. But mine was easy here. And then that blue button also opens my garage door. So I felt like it was a good place, because I'm going to end up replacing, if you can see the old one dangling there, I'm going to cut that and cap that off, so that's not in effect anymore. But I mounted that over there. It's close to the wall, and then they give you like a little warning thing that you can put underneath if you would like. Step 2 is to obviously download the app, so they give you some stuff there. So most of these first couple instructions are pretty self-explanatory. Then step 3, they tell you to plug it in, make sure you have optimal Wi-Fi. Most of that stuff is pretty self-explanatory. This is when we start getting into the nuts and bolts of things. So single door, and I can't speak, sorry for the grass things. I just got done cutting the grass, and somehow this ended up underneath the lawnmower, but so I have just a single 2-car garage door garage. So just a single door. I can't really talk to if you have multiple doors. I can only speak for mine, but so basically they tell you to strip the wire and put one for door 1. You'll see there. It'll be the first 2. So you'll strip the wire, you'll put one in the first one, and then I put the one with the black line in it on the right. So you can kind of see that there. But there's one wire that's solid, and then you'll see one wire that has a grayish black line. You'll put that one in the right one. I also had so I went out and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have some wires here. I need to get some wire strippers. Standard wire strippers, unless you have some really fancy ones, these wires are really, really thin. So what I did was I just used a knife and just kind of lightly ran over the wire, and just get it enough to where it would give it a little groove in there. Then I would stick my fingernail in there and just pull it out. I wish I had it already done, but that was the easiest way to do it for me. I just got a regular kitchen knife. Make sure nothing is hooked up while you're doing that, because obviously you don't want to electrocute yourself or do anything like that. But I just ran a knife over the cord until I got a nice little groove. And then I was able to just put my fingernail in there and just pull the wire straight off. So you put those in there. And then, so basically it's telling you can either plug it directly into the garage door opener or into the back of the wall control. So the 2 options that you have are here. So this is my old wall control. And you'll see a red and then a white. So for me, I can't remember how I did it. I believe the red one ended up being my solid color wire, and then the white one ended up being my black and white, or white wire with the black line in it. So if you have one of those 2-strand door openers, that's what you can do. So initially I tried to do that, and for some reason I just could not get it to work. I'm like, what is going on? I hooked it up, did everything I was supposed to, and it didn't work. So let's get on up here. So what I did was option number 2, which was wire it directly, or option A, wire it directly to the garage door opener. As you can see, have to clean up the wires a little bit, but everything is wired as such, the correct ones. So for me, in the instructions, when they say wire it to the garage door opener, you'll see that it has 1, 2, 3, 4. Mine doesn't have that, and that's where I kept getting confused. It took me a good hour to figure out like what to do, because I'm like, mine only has 3, it doesn't have 4, and those colors don't look anything like mine. So what you'll need to do if you have a Craftsman, you'll see that there's a 1, there's a 2, and then there's a 3. So I wired the solid color 1 to number 1, and then the wire with the black line going through it, I wired that to number 2. And I did, so paid attention to what I did for the back of the actual device. The solid color 1 is number 1, and then the one with the line is number 2. And those correlate to the red one being number 1, and then the white one, number 2, being number 2. And I'm assuming if you have, multiple, if you have different brands, I mean, more than likely they should be color coded, so I would think it would be the same. But at least for Craftsman, at least for this model, that's what worked for me. Let's get down from there. So now at this point, you have officially have everything wired up. And at this point, things are probably hanging all over the place, but you can get that all buttoned up later. So then about mounting. So they give you some anchor screws and the ability to mount it on a wall, or you can just kind of sit it up there somewhere. You can just do whatever you like to do there. So mount it, and then they say about the garage door positioning sensor. So door positioning sensor. Mounting that to the actual garage door. So basically they tell you to drill all into your garage door and do all that extra stuff. I did not do that because I didn't really need to. My garage door has these already pre-drilled. So I really don't want to take that off because I don't want to mess anything up. But basically what I did was I used the double-sided tape and then stuck the actual base to that with the double-sided tape. And then this base fit nicely into these holes here. So these holes were perfectly spaced. I'm assuming they may be common or standard on all garage doors. But mine already had the holes there, so I didn't have to drill anything or do anything like that. So then I took the screws that they provided and ran it through there and just kind of buttoned them up on the backside. And then everything was good there. Then slid this door positioning sensor over top. I did it on the left. I guess you can do it on the left or right. I guess it really doesn't matter as long as it is at the top. And then it says complete programming. So this is where you may run into a lot of your issues. You'll have everything, or you'll think you'll have everything ready to go, and then you'll get it all hooked up, and then it just doesn't work. So I'll tell you, I mean, obviously I've failed a bunch of times, so I won't go through all those, but I'll kind of tell you some troubleshooting that I found while doing this. So the first thing you do is you'll see a Wi-Fi focus. There we go. So you'll see a Wi-Fi button there. You'll press down until you get a yellow light. At that point, you'll want to go into your Wi-Fi settings, and then you'll look for a Wi-Fi name that starts with like G something or other. It'll look totally different than any of your other Wi-Fi names. You'll want to select that, but you'll only want to do that once you get to that part of the installation. So basically, you'll download the app, you'll start with your doors, and then it'll say add door. You'll go through the process. It'll tell you once you get to that page to hold down the Wi-Fi button. Once it turns yellow, select it. Then once you select it, then go to the next screen. It'll find your Wi-Fi, and then it'll tell you to now insert your actual Wi-Fi that you'll be using in your house. So I guess to make a long story short, you'll select the Wi-Fi that comes with it. It starts with like a G something. You'll go to the next screen, and then it'll say now select your home's Wi-Fi. You'll put in all your information there. Then it'll say now you are all set. Now let's set up your door positioning sensor. And this is the part where I had the most trouble because I couldn't get this light to turn on. And I couldn't figure it out. The first time I ever did it, turned on and it worked flawlessly. You pull the little tab out and it syncs perfectly. If you have to do this multiple times, or if you didn't get it right on the first time, it may not work. So this is what I figured out how to do. So if you realize that if you get to that screen and it says, is your light solid blue? Yours isn't solid blue like that. If it's flashing or if it's not showing up at all, this is what you do. So you'll hold this button down, or whatever button you want to use for your garage door. You'll hold it down until it's flashing. So you'll want to see that flash. You'll want to then walk over to your door positioning sensor, and then you'll hold this button down. So it'll turn on, the light will show up here, and then you're gonna hold that down until that light turns off. You'll then, because remember how I told you once you did that this light would be flashing? That light should now be solid. If it's not, if it's still flashing, what I found, I went over there and did it, held the button down, the light turned off, but it was still flashing. So I'm like, all right, went over and did it again, and held it down, light turned off, it was solid. So it was good to go. And at that point, a garage door worked. I didn't have any issues. I was able to use the app and open and close it. I was able to manually now open and close it. So if I press this button here, it'll open and close my garage. I'll get the notification on the app. and everything seems to work flawless at this point. So it took me many hours, you know, a lot of frustration, but you know, finally paid off. So lastly, what I did once I got everything figured out and figured out how to do it, they give you some little things that you can put on so you can run the wires. So right now I have them just kind of running along the ceiling, over and down to the device there. Because initially I had it up there, but with me wanting to actually be able to use this to kind of open and close my garage if I need to when I'm in here, then I'm gonna do that. But I've noticed that because my garage door opener, the old one has this little button that controls that light up there. And sometimes I need a little extra light. So what I'm gonna do is end up just mounting this here. Even though it's kind of an eyesore, it still kind of has a purpose. I'll clean it up a little bit. So I think it's probably been here since this was installed back in 2001. So I'll clean this up a little bit, but this button is still functional for me. So I will continue to do that. And it also has a lock function, which is built in, so that'll be good to use. So at this point, I'll just kind of leave this over there till I get rid of that. Sorry I didn't try to make the video too long. It's just, you know, a lot of things that, you know, I wanted to make sure that I got across in this video, because it can be a lot, especially when they don't give you very good instructions and you're trying to get things figured out. Let's see if I can show this. I did have a lot of wire left over, a whole ton of wire left over. So that can be discarded. Because I only really needed enough to run it from there. So thank you. If you have any questions as you're installing yours, feel free to hit me up. And thank you for watching.